So you're thinking about running, but not sure how to take the first step. My name is Brian Patterson, and I'm here to help. Welcome to Brian's Run Pod. Welcome back to Brian's Run Pod, and it's me, your host, Brian Patterson. Well, today we're going to be looking at running on a budget. Also on the podcast, we have a new segment. More about that later on. Now, you would think that running is a relatively cheap sport. You just put on your trainers and your workout gear and you're out the door. Until you start budgeting for £100 racing shoes, performance apparel, GPS watch, wireless headphones, a heart rate monitor, fancy sunglasses. Honestly, you can make running as expensive as you want. Thanks to the proliferation of high-end brands like Nike, New Balance, and not forgetting the traditional brands like Adidas and Puma, as well as the constantly evolving fitness technology that aims to optimize every step of your workout. Not everyone is looking to break records. However, I know from personal experience, once you get into running, then it's very easy to get sucked into spending more than you bargained for. It's like you go into these running shops with a budget in mind, and then you walk out the shop feeling that you've just been fleeced. Well, on the podcast today, we're going to talk about how we can make running a little easier on the wallet. Finding the right gear. Now, there are some really good tips from an article written by Flora Beverley about how to save money on buying the right gear. Links will be in the show notes, obviously. Firstly, I'd like to say that if you are started running and feel like you want to take it up really serious hobby, then circumstances have changed. Like you, and also maybe circumstances have changed that you may have been made redundant, or your financial status has changed. So we'll give you some tips on buying secondhand gear and end of season discounts. So what about secondhand gear? There are specialty running discount retailers like Relay Goods, which buy surplus inventory from running brands, then passes on the savings onto the runner. But you also find lightly worn gear from popular running brands like Patagonia, REI, On Running, and Lululemon. For non-specialty retailers, Depop and Vinted and eBay are great sites if you know what you need. End-of-season discounts. Now, there are two end-of-season forces you should pay attention to. The first is the actual transition from winter to spring, spring to summer, and summer to fall. Brands produce inventory based on that season's trends. So when summer comes to an end, you'll see the summer inventory marketed at a discount, and it's perfect time to stock up on the next season needs. Secondly, transition from one generation of a shoe to the next. When you hear that Nike will be releasing the version 40 of the Pegasus shoe, that means that the next Nike Pegasus 39 or even 38 will be discounted within a few weeks of following. Borrow from a friend. If you find you signed up for a race that requires extensive mandatory kit list, adding up to the hundreds if not thousands, consider borrowing kit from a running friend. Maybe that friend got you into running, especially if this is your first race and you're not sure if you'll do more. Borrowing from a friend has the added benefit of allowing you to test out the kit before committing to something more expensive. And don't have a peer group of runners to borrow from. So join websites like Gear Garage, which will allow you to borrow a specialist kit like a running backpack. Local running shop. Now, I have a local running shop very near me in Twickenham, which is in Teddington, but there may be a local running shop wherever you are in the world, because I know this podcast does go out to 53 countries in the world. So whether you do have like a local running shop near you, what I know once a week they have a local running club, and also they do have guest speakers from sports manufacturers that will give you advice and that will do a presentation on what they're looking to bring out. And so they may be a possibility they may offer introductory discounts. Affordable running watches. Now, while it's perfectly possible to run without a GPS watch, and some people do quite successfully, If you're quite happy with just running with a digital Seiko, then great. However, if you want to monitor your runs but not break the bank, unfortunately, most GPS watches aren't cheap and are hard to find if you're planning to running on a budget. However, older models of GPS watches can be bought at second-hand or when the new model comes out for discounted prices. There are many refurbished tech sites which offer good as new tech and that for whatever reason cannot be resold on the original sites like eBay, Back Market, Factory Outlet, or great places to buy used previous models and refurbished running watches. Now, I do know that on the Apple site they do refurbish watches, so maybe go there. And so do try the refurbish page of, let's say, a watch that you may be looking for. So anyway, what to look for. So on the GPS side, GPS accuracy on running watches has come on leaps and bounds in the past few years, with a lot of them boasting dual frequency GPS, and this is just a fancy way of saying it tracks your location more accurately, particularly in built-up urban environments. That being said, the GPS on cheaper running watches can still vary. Features. Consider your priorities when it comes to run tracking and how nerdy you are about the data you want to get. The more you have to spend, the more features you'll get. The likes of the Forerunner 55 has access to the Garmin Coach adaptive training plans, daily suggested workouts, handy pace guidance. The Kip Run GPS 900 has also recovery and activity insights, including running performance, VTO max estimates, and training load. So if you are starting out, then maybe just go for the basic model. Interestingly, a survey done in the UK found that half or 54% of Brits didn't actually understand all the metrics on their wearable device. So, and I'm just as guilty as that. I have the Apple Watch and they do kind of overload you with loads of data, which maybe you don't need or really don't understand. So if you don't think you're going to utilize all the health and fitness features, there's no harm in opting for a more basic model. And as I said, I know with my Apple Watch, the metrics on the running app are a bit overwhelming, and I can give you a link to an article written by Runner's World that lists some budget options. How to race affordably. Now, you have the gear and you want to start racing. Well, the cheapest option is Parkrun. As we have covered many times, Parkrun is an organised 5K run that is held all over the world. The reason it is cheap is that it's free. Anyway, if you're looking for races that might be distances greater than Parkrun, the following might help. Plan ahead, prioritise your races. If you really are into the sport and want to do all the races, then before the season starts, maybe prioritise the races you want to enter. Purchase your registration early. The race directors often steeply discount entry fees when registration first opens. There are a number of reasons for this, but the basic concept is that the race director's job becomes slightly easier when you know that you have a full race field and can predict the number of participants well in advance in the actual race. Volunteer. Many of the larger race organisations will trade you a full shift of volunteering for a free or significantly discounted race entry. Some companies like the Spartan Race will allow you to volunteer in the morning and race later on in the afternoon. Otherwise, it will allow you to volunteer 1 year and then race the next. Still, others will allow you or a family member of yours to volunteer in exchange for a race entry. So I do know, for instance, in Parkrun, they do value the volunteers, because if it wasn't for the volunteers, there would be no race. Race local. Local smaller races are often significantly less expensive than some of the bigger national race companies. Further racing local helps support your local running community and sometimes even local charities and the economy. That said, racing some of the bigger events locally will also save you money in the form of both travel costs and not needing to spend the night in a hotel. So, affordable training. Now, affordable training apps. Again, this is something I've covered before on a previous episode. And in any case, I think it's best to cover again in this context. Some of the apps offer a free subscription. And if you want to get more bells and whistles, then you might have to commit to a subscription. Anyhow, below are some apps that you might want to consider. Now, just to clarify, a running app is an app you can download onto your personal devices, such as a phone, smartwatch, or tablet. Not that you'd go wanting to go running with the tablet. That will help you track your running journey. So if you do have it on the tablet, maybe you might be able to see your statistics a little bit clearer. Every app is a little different. Some have features dedicated solely to running, while others serve as a broader workout apps that include running features. Regardless of whether or not it is running specific, a good running app will, at a minimum, allow you to keep track of your runs, including time and distance. Ideally, it will also offer features like custom motivation, access to online community, goal setting, training tips, and more. For convenience and the comfort, you can carry your phone on a running belt. Runkeeper. I know at the beginning of this, when I was starting doing the podcast, I did talk about Runkeeper quite a bit. Yes, it has a free trial, and yes, the cost, if you look up the cost at your local area, wherever you are, there is a subscription. So it is available on both iPhone and Android. Pros, the Runkeeper also allows you to set goals and watch your progress to stay motivated. And if you're into biking and fitness walking, you can track those activities as well. So for runners training for races, Runkeeper has personalized training programs, which I really love, complete with helpful reminders to keep you on track. It also syncs with other apps and devices such as Fitbit and Apple Watch. And all these features are available free on iOS and Android. Cons: requires paid upgrade for access to a premium feature. To tailored race training plans are only available with subscription. My Run, free trial, no cost. They if in your local area to find out the cost. And iPhone and Android, yes, it's available on both those platforms. Pros: real-time audio coaching, ability to view time, distance, speed, and pace while running, syncs with several devices, and location sharing options for safety. Cons: premium features require subscription. GPS can be a bit spotty if your device is not in the right place. And the next one is C2 to 5K trainer. So when I'm talking about Couch to 5K, there is a free trial, yes, but there is a cost if you want to subscribe. iPhone and Android, yes, on both platforms, offers a run-walk method of training, audio coach alerts, get 5K ready in 8 weeks. Great for beginners. Not ideal for intermediate or experienced runners, requires attention for audio cues, and upgrade required to access premium features like customized programs. Strava, another very popular one, does have a free trial. Again, there is a subscription, so as it's available on iPhone and Android. Pros: good choice for competitive runners, focus on performance analytics, highlights the social aspects of running. Great web interface. When I talk about web interface, looking it up on the computer. If you love social and competitive aspects of running, Strava is the app for you. You can compare your times with other members of Strava community or with your own group of friends to boost your motivation. It also has a safety feature called Beacon, which allows you to share your real-time location with up to 3 people while you're running. And they don't need to have the app or be Strava members either. The cons are potential privacy concerns with personal routes made public, although I do think they've kind of addressed that. It doesn't show the start and end of your run. Might be too competitive advanced for entry-level runners. The other thing it doesn't have, which I didn't like, you can't do interval sessions with Strava, which I really liked with Runkeeper. So, and there's also, it does require a premium version to access all the features. Now, summary, there are probably many apps that I've missed, and we could go all day talking about the apps. For instance, these are the apps that are device specific, like the Apple Watch Run app. In a way, they are free as this comes pre-installed with the Apple Watch. However, you have to buy the Apple Watch first to get the app. Garmin is a popular watch with serious runners or even beginners. Again, there you have their own app. Also, some of the devices, only apps, can export data to some other apps, as I've mentioned already. So, for example, I use the Apple Watch on the treadmill, and I can export data to Strava and to Runkeeper. Right, let's get into affordable strength training. Now, in this world of the internet and simple gym equipment, you don't necessarily have to sign up to a gym. So below are some tips if you're looking to add strength training to help boost your running. Buy multifunction equipment, and if you're buying items for the home gym, make sure you choose equipment you can use for a variety of different exercises. For example, dumbbells can be used for deadlifts, bent over rows, push presses. A resistance band set with multiple resistance levels can provide a full body workout. So dumbbells, barbells, simple and accessible. So, and as I said, you can join maybe with one of these online personal training companies where you can look at a personal trainer online who will go through various basic strength work and conditioning workouts. Or you can just go look up on YouTube. There's plenty of running specific strength training videos on YouTube. Try bodyweight exercises, do press-ups for arms, chest workout. And if you look online, as I said, you can make this as easy or as hard as you want, like doing press-ups up against a wall, then try the less strenuous ones. And then to take it up a level, do it on the floor. Tricep dips off the back of a chair by bringing your feet further from you, then you can make it harder for yourself. Squats, again, great for your legs. And again, I'll include show notes. And I have covered this in a previous podcast, and I'll include a link in the show notes as to where you can get that. Now, it is come to the time where there's that special feature for this podcast. I thought I'd cover, as it is the Olympic year, an event from the Olympics, which obviously relates to running. So as I said, today we're going to be looking at the marathon. So the marathon, a grueling 26.2 mile race that tests the limits of human endurance, has a rich history deeply intertwined with the Olympic Games. But how did it all begin? Well, let's rewind the clock back to the 19th century. In the year of 1896, the first modern Olympic Games are about to be revived in Athens, Greece, inspired by the legendary run of Philippides, who reportedly ran from the battlefield of Marathon to Athens to announce the Greek victory over the Persians. The marathon race was included in the inaugural Olympics on April the 10th, 1896. 17 athletes lined up at the starting line for the first ever Olympic marathon. The course stretched from the town of Marathon to the stadium in Athens, totaling approximately 24.85 miles. Just so happens, and appropriately, a Greek athlete, a water carrier, emerged victorious in front of a jubilant crowd, forever etching his name into Olympic history. And I will try to say his name, Spiridon Lewis. The marathon's popularity soared after Lewis' triumph, and it soon became a staple of the Olympic Games. Over the years, the event witnessed numerous memorable moments and iconic performances. In 1908, the London Olympics marked the first time the marathon distance was set to 26.2 miles, a decision made to ensure the race finished in front of the Royal Box in the stadium. So the distance later became the standard for all marathons worldwide. Fast forward to, let's say, the 1960 Roman Olympics, when Ethiopian Abebe Bikila made history by becoming the first African to win the Olympic gold medal. And what's even more remarkable, he ran the entire race barefoot. Who can forget the incredible showdown between the East African legends Kenyans Kipchoge and Ethiopians Bikila at the 2016 Rio Olympics? Kipchoge clinched the gold in a display of sheer determination and athleticism, solidifying his status as one of the greatest marathoners of all time. From humble beginnings in ancient Greece to a global phenomenon showcased on the grand stage of the Olympics, the marathon continues to captivate audiences and inspire runners worldwide. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed this episode of Brian's Run Pod about running on a budget. And thank you very much to listening, and look forward to speaking to you soon. And that's a wrap for another exhilarating episode of Brian's Run Pod. Thanks for tuning in, folks. As always, we've got your back with all things running. And next week, get ready for some awesome beginner hints and tips to kickstart your running journey. Oh, and before we sign off, exciting news. We're now available on YouTube. So whether you're pounding the pavement or chilling at home, you can catch us there too. Plus, we have a new feature on the podcast. You can now send me a message. Yep, you heard it right. Brian's Run Pod has become interactive with the audience. If you look at the top of the episode description, tap on Send Us a Text Message. You can tell me what you think of the episode, or alternatively, what you would like covered. If you're lucky, I might even read them out on the podcast. Hey, if you want to keep up with the latest updates, behind-the-scenes fun, and even some exclusive content, make sure to follow me on social media. You can find me on Twitter, or should I say X, at Brian's Run Pod. We've also just launched a shiny new Facebook page. Simply search for Brian's Run Pod and give us a like. And don't forget to hop on over to Instagram, where you can catch all our visual adventures at Brian's Run Pod. For those of you who love diving deep into the episodes, head over to our website, www.briansrunpod.co.uk, and there you'll find detailed show notes, handy chapter markers, make it too easy to navigate through our favourite discussions. Please leave a review, as it will always help others find this podcast. Music is by Happy Days by Stock Audio, not forgetting artwork by Alice Patterson. Till next week, thanks again for listening.